welcome back to Glitter Budget. I almost said the original one. But as we mentioned in our previous episode, we are now formally Glitter Budget because it's just easier all around.
It makes more sense.
Yeah. And with the rebranding, which we're going with shorter episodes, we're focusing more on uh, movies, shows, and events from the 90s, 80s, 70s, and up to today.
Whatever we find nostalgic to us, it's all
Yes.
about us.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is for us, and then you guys are just along for the ride.
Yes.
So, yes.
Also, if we ever hold public events, I can get those glitter bombs.
Oh my god, yes. I can see it now.
Everyone will hate us.
And we'll try to make them like biodegradable glitter so that
Yes.
we are environmentally friendly. Because right now, with that threat.
Hmm.
But yeah, so in this episode, we are talking about Spaceballs. We're continuing our Mel Brooks theme.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Yes. So, the movie Spaceballs is a parody off of Star Wars. If you are unaware, if you were
If you're
born
living
on
under a rock.
yeah, the biggest rock ever. But Spaceballs came out in 97, which was after 97, 87.
I was like,
87, not 97. 1987. I was looking at the 9 in my notes
what? Ah.
in the 19, and I was like 97. But yeah, 1987. Which was 4 years after the last original
Trilogy. Star Wars trilogy.
trilogy. Yeah. So it was after Jedi. And Mel Brooks, the writer,
The writer, director, producer. No, Lucasfilms produced it. They did post production.
I didn't read that part, but sure, yeah.
So I guess they were saying like the
Sorry, that was my neck. If you heard that,
because Mel Brooks had loved Star Wars so much that he wanted to do this parody of it, and he had enough love and respect that he asked for George Lucas' blessing before he, officially greenlight it and want to do it. And I think like the cherry on top for Lucas was like, hey, we'll give you $5 million to do post production for this spoof
yeah,
of your life's work. He went, all right.
yeah. And actually, so he got Lucas's blessing, and because George Lucas had read the script and was like, "Holy, I really like this," and gave him pretty much all the fair use claim was like, "Yeah, sure, like go for it, that'd be awesome." The only thing that Mel Brooks couldn't do was merchandising, which he jokes about in the actual movie. That's why there is no actual Spaceballs merchandise that was put out into the real world. Is all joked about in the movie.
Yes, so I liked it too how he like really drove home of like, this is the only way that a movie actually makes money.
Yeah.
Is in the merchandise.
Yeah. And they Mel Brooks also jokes about Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. But continuing with the George Lucas thing, he actually his special effects team, which was called Industrial Light and Magic, did some of the special effects in Spaceballs.
Oh, nice.
And they, since the last Star Wars movie, which was Jedi, there was part of that special effects team. It was called Apogee Incorporated, which was the special effects team for Spaceballs.
Mm-hmm.
Those two companies last worked with each other on Star Wars, because like they broke off when Lucasfilms moved to I forget what Marin County, I think they said. Don't quote me on that because I don't remember. My memory is shit. If I don't write it down, and it's gone forever. But so there was the first time since that movie that they had worked together, and
that's
they
awesome.
I think they had worked specifically on the chestburster scene.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like there's a weird combination of like decent special effects. So like when they were using the blasters,
Yeah.
the lightsaber.
Yeah.
fighting. um, stuff like that. But then there was like some really, really, really poor special effects. So like I don't know if you picked up on it. I did for the first time watching it recently, but when Dark Helmet and
What is the safari outfit?
when he's in the safari outfit, but they're in
That speeder?
the speeder. Did you notice?
The mirrors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, because for like a hot second when it first comes on the scene, I was just like, oh, that look, oh shit, that's just they're just sitting on mirrors.
Yeah.
Like that's really
Mhm.
glaringly obvious.
I think probably um if you were watching it in theaters back in '87 when it came out, it probably looked like holy shit, it's floating. Like it's
Right.
actually like it's an actual floating.
It's a hovercraft.
That's
That's what
what
I
it's
was thinking.
called.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a floaty ship. You probably couldn't really see just based on the resolution in the
Right.
theaters that you probably couldn't really see it. But when you watch it on an HD TV, and they probably might have updated the way that it looks since then, but since it was shot on film, I don't think so. Maybe? I don't know.
Not sure. I don't know. But I mean, yeah, no, I don't think so.
But you can definitely tell that it's just this little the hovercraft is just on a platform of mirrors.
I noticed it, like, if you look at the back of it, you can't really tell. I noticed it in the
Mhm.
front. It's just a hard line.
I noticed it all around.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, that looks. Why is there a line there? Why is there a line there? Mirrors. But it's pretty clever. Like George Lucas when he was doing Star Wars, that was all like a lot of that was miniatures that he had
Right.
done for a lot of the space uh the spacecrafts and his spaceships and everything. Those were all miniatures and everything.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like I said, I thought it was just a weird, like I said, it's just a weird combination of what they decided to sink their money into special effects wise.
Mhm.
Because I know he was definitely like on a very limited budget, and again, sinking like 5 million just to have Lucas Productions' name put on it for post production to be like a big selling point,
Mhm.
tied up a lot of their money. But if you think like some of the special effects for '87 was like pretty decent, and then you look at stuff like that,
Yeah.
but then you look at the links that they went to for Pizza the Hut that was in
Oh God.
one scene,
Yeah.
really. Like it wasn't even that, and like the the melting cheese on him is actually melting. So I guess the original stuntman had experienced second and third degree burns on it. So when they wanted to do another take, he was like, "No,
Yeah.
I quit." And walked off set and refused to come back to do it. But I'm like, what? Like, I just want to know like why you would go through those kind of lengths for not even a 5 minute scene
I don't.
for the
I
character to eat itself to death.
pretty much. Yeah. Later. I mean, like, it's. I guess when directors get a vision, they just want to go with it. But I think that what I was reading, I don't know the exact figures, but I think that was his most expensive movie.
Yeah.
I want to say it was like 25 million. It was a lot. Where Blazing Saddles, I think, was only 1 million to
Right.
produce. Like it was Spaceballs, and then Dracula Didn't Loving It was like the next most expensive movie to make, and then I think near the bottom was Blazing Saddles.
I could see that though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like I said, it was just a weird mix to me, like watching all that kind of stuff. I was like, it chose strangely and what kind of effects you were going to sink your money into.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was kind of cool that um that they had gotten Barf's outfit, the costume, the idea behind Barf, like they were going to have this big like dog suit essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And Mel Brooks was like, "Well, if we're gonna do a dog suit and completely cover up the fact that we have John Candy,
John
why even
Candy,
use John Candy?
right?
Like, I could save just a bunch of money there." So then they were gonna do like just like a face thing or something like that, something smaller, and they're like, "No." And then it finally got down to like the animatronic ears and the tail. So like, there's two crew members that run the ears, and John Candy controls the tail, which I thought was kind of cool. Like they
Yeah,
actually have they had the animatronics to do that, which was neat. Because they didn't have a Muppet or
Right.
something like, you know. But and then Dot Matrix, they had several little robot thing bodies. I think they had 6 of them, and they went through all. They like broke them all
Oh, really? I was
throughout
wondering
filming.
how they like that. That was one thing I didn't really look into too much was how they were able to pull her off. 'Cause I know
Yeah.
it was a Joan Rivers voiced her, right?
Yes, but they had a different actress that played her, much like they had James Earl Jones voice Darth Vader, but they actually had, oh, what was his name? David Prowse actually
Mm,
be the body
right.
of Vader.
So weird. It's like
Yeah.
so many weird, like,
Keep touching this
again, behind the scenes type stuff that like I just love, and I loved love the fact that he tried to cast either Tom Hanks or what was it, Tom Cruise? 'Cause I could kind of see Tom Hanks playing it, but not Tom Cruise.
I can see the other way. I can see
Really?
Cruise playing it. I mean, because he did like he's one of the people that would do weird acting choices sometimes. Not as weird as like Johnny Depp, but like he would do oddball choices in the movies that he was in, where you're just like, I wouldn't imagine that. But what, like Magnolia? It's a fucking weird movie, dude.
Yeah, Vanilla Sky.
Mm-hmm.
But those are like weird kind of drama esque movies. Like I don't know that role. I feel like Tom Hanks has kind of played that fun,
Yeah.
cheeky kind of role before. So I don't know. I pictured him in that role more so than Tom, especially during that time.
Yeah.
Like that was when Tom Cruise was done right around the time I think Top Gun.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of like those kind of like action,
Yeah.
like kind of comedy but more action packed type films. I really can't see him going from that to
They wanted Mel Brooks originally wanted James Caan of Godfather fame, but I guess he was in the midst of an addiction problem at the time, and it was going to be
no.
too much to insure him.
Oh,
So they were like, they went with at the time who was unknown, Bill Pullman.
right. Which obviously like, fast forward like an iconic role,
Yeah.
like it's one of those things like once you get an iconic film or a cult classic, like you can't picture anybody else being cast in it.
Yeah. Like it's like that's who that is. That's no one else. And like I that's why I love behind the scenes shit though, when you find out what could have been and you're like, wow, I literally cannot imagine that.
Yeah.
Either actors or like choices that they were gonna do. I'm like, they originally wanted to call Spaceballs Planet Moron.
Yeah. And it was already taken, right? By a previous
It
like British film.
was originally there was a British sci-fi spoof called Morons from Outer Space that came
That's
out in
right.
'85, so it came out 2 years previously. So they couldn't do that, and how they came up with this was they had the 3 producers. There were the one guy, I forget his name. I'm sorry. I know his name was Timothy, I believe. I forgot his last name.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. He was saying like it was his idea to use space something,
Right.
and then I guess Mel Brooks accidentally spilled hot coffee on himself and said balls, and they're like,
That's
Spaceballs,
it.
that's it. And so that like I found it so funny that like that's how it came about was like it needs to be space something. Space something. And then there's some expletive that came out of nowhere. It's like, that's it.
Perfect.
And then TM.
I love though like how much they made fun of the movie in the movie. Like when they were like, "Comb the desert." You just see it's like, "Are we taking this too literal?" He said, "Comb the desert." Comb in the desert.
And they're like, the guys are like, we ain't found shit. Fun fact. That guy who said we ain't found shit, he went on to play, oh my god, what's his name? Tuvok on Voyager.
Really?
Yes, that
No
was him.
shit.
So, but there are several Star Trek references
Yes.
in Spaceballs, which I think is so awesome because there's that constant debate between Star Wars and Star Trek. And I think that's another reason why Mel Brooks put that in there, which is like it's just fun little things.
It's fun, and then it's almost kind of like a let's see how many people this is gonna piss off.
Yeah. Yeah,
But I love when Bill Pullman came around and was like, "Ah, you're trying to do the Vulcan death grip. You gotta go down a little bit lower where like the shoulder." He's like,
yeah.
"Oh, thanks.
And then he did,
That's it."
and the beaming him down,
Yeah.
and it was just to the next room over. But like, one of like the trademarks that Mel Brooks has is that he likes to I guess poke fun at different ethnicities and especially like Jewish traditions and stuff like
Yeah.
that, cuz he always plays like an over the top Jewish character
Right.
in his movies whenever he does do a cameo or has a role. So his yogurt
Yeah.
is a very strong Jewish accent.
Yes.
And oh god, what, the snotty that beams
Oh, yeah.
President Scroob
Yeah.
over to the next room. He's like, Loch 1, Loch 2, Loch 3, Loch Lomond. Like, he goes in for these cheap little jokes, but, you know, they're so silly and so stupid that you have to laugh.
Yeah.
And he always has to make fun of Hitler.
I feel like him being Jewish
He has every
and
right.
right. So I kind of feel like that's just like a almost like a given for him of just, every chance that I get,
Yeah.
we just have to,
Hmm.
but I love though that he's able to take something like that though and make light of it and kind of joke about it and make it into like some of his own art in a way that
Yeah.
he sees fit. you know I mean, I always thought that was kind of like a staple of his that I always thought was very clever.
Yeah. Like, it's just, like you said, I think when we were talking about Blazing Saddles, we had talked more about like how you couldn't really make that kind of movie today.
Yeah.
Um and all of the smart decisions that he had in there, like just to make people think.
Right.
I think it's not as blatant in Spaceballs. I think
No.
Spaceballs is more a true parody. Just making fun of like a lot of different little things. I don't think there's really
Yeah.
too many things in this movie that'll make you think.
No, I think like you said, I think he definitely had a couple more Jewish jokes in there because they joke about the princess
Oh,
like
the
being Jewish a couple
Druish
times.
princess.
Yeah. Um and I think this one, I mean, obviously like the majority of the movies that he does, if not all of them, are some type of spoof.
Yeah.
But I feel like this one was the most spoofiest of spoofs
Yeah,
that
because
he's done.
it spoofed a lot of different things within it. Like there's a spoof of the chest bursting scene from Alien. Right in the beginning of the movie when they have like the longest spaceship intro ever,
Yeah.
which lasts for a minute and 32 seconds.
Oh my god.
They kind of the music that's playing is reminiscent of Jaws, like the Jaws
Yeah.
music.
Yep.
And so there's Alien, Jaws, Star Trek, Planet of the Apes at the end
Oh
when
yeah.
the Mega Maid head lands on the beach.
Yeah.
There was sand involved. I'm sorry.
There's a lot
And
of desert in that film. We crossed a lot of
yeah, there's a lot of terrain.
geographical locations.
Exactly. But the two ape guys run up and they're like, "Oh shit, there goes the planet." Were there other movies that were spoofed?
I feel like those were like the top. Star Wars, Star Trek, Jaws, Alien, Planet of the Apes. I feel like that was it. Pretty sure that covers it.
We'll shout them out as they come to us.
Randomly, like a Tourette's
Mhm.
episode.
Like tardigrades.
Whatever.
Whatever. They're called water bears, so I'm right and you're wrong.
Childish much? It's fine.
Never said I wasn't. But the what we were talking about before we started recording was the actor Michael Winslow
Yeah.
from Police Academy fame. Which if you haven't seen the 5,000 Police Academy movies, you need to watch at least the first one.
Yeah. I think he was in all eight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were a lot. That's I think when they first started. That that franchise started the whole sequel franchise. In my opinion, I don't know if there were other movies that like had sequels, but they went on for a long time. Just how like Fast and the Furious went on for 5,000 movies.
Oh, it's
Like
still happening. It didn't.
I know
Yeah,
it's still going.
it's a franchise that won't die.
Yes, but Police Academy was the first to do it.
I think that's fair. That's a fair. Well, I could argue with that, but we'll go back to that later.
All right, but Michael Winslow was like he's just this huge like what would you even call it? He just does a lot of he can make a lot of cool sounds with his mouth.
Yeah, he's his own
Sound machine.
sound machine.
Yeah, he's his own
Like
special effects person. And so for the scene that he was in, he did all the sound effects for that scene. So Mel Brooks jokes in the audio commentary on the DVD saying like he joked saying he saved about like $1,000 on sound effects just from having Michael Winslow do his own sound effects in that scene. The bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
the creeps.
Yeah. Okay, obviously we are not nearly as talented, so I can't
Not
do
even
it.
gonna attempt that. No.
But it's like so it's just awesome. It was kind of like when I watched Spaceballs again, I was like, "Oh my god, Police Academy!" Because I loved his character from Police Academy. He was awesome.
I've seen the first one, but it's been so long. I would definitely need to watch it again. It would probably be like the first time watching it. You know what I mean? It's been
Yeah,
that long.
that'll be on our list, our long, ever growing
Long
list
list.
of movies that we're going to be talking about in the future. So we have enough material to last us for years. So you guys best strap in for the long haul and even give us suggestions.
Yeah, some of your favorites.
Mm-hmm,
Which I'm
mm-hmm.
sure will be some of our favorites.
I'm sure we'll revisit Labyrinth again because that is where our name stemmed from. If you ever go back and listen to the first episode of our podcast, which I'm sorry,
Yeah, it was rough.
the
It was-
audio is awful. We've grown as a podcast, clearly. We still have growing to do,
yes.
clearly.
Eh,
But that first episode, we talk about just why we even started the podcast, but also where glitter budget came from. So if you are wondering what the fuck is glitter budget, what does it have anything to do with movies and shows and
because
from our
I
childhood?
want to know how much money Labyrinth spent on glitter. I would like to know when they were doing their itemized financial sheet. I'm more than sure it's a glitter budget X amount of dollars, and it was probably quite high.
Yes. After like it was probably the most money they spent other than like getting David Bowie to do it. It
And
was,
all the animatronics that were like all the
so it was David Bowie, glitter, animatronics.
Yeah. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah. I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Spaceballs. So, that I love the whole outfit for Dark Helmet. Just when you look at him from afar, he looks like a phallic object.
Oh my god, he does.
And Rick Moranis, we love, like, he's definitely one of those people from my childhood that I'm like, oh man, like you get warm fuzzies whenever I see him. Just every movie that I've seen that has him in it is just like one of like those feel good type movies.
Yeah. I always remember him from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yes.
And then on Little
Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it was actually the scene where he is playing with the dolls.
It was all
That was
improv,
yeah,
right?
that was it was not in the script. It was just all improv by him, and it was also his idea to have the voice be deeper anytime the helmet was down.
right.
And his voice sounded like David Prowse, the guy who actually physically played Vader. His actual voice, it sounds like him.
Really.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I loved how they had him like drinking through the helmet.
Oh my god, that whole scene, which we did for our TikTok, when it came on, when I was watching it, I'm like, oh my god.
I will have that dialogue seared into my memory forever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then it took me a lot not to like do it.
Yeah. What, like, I was watching and I'm like, don't say it.
No, but
But
I like though how they made fun of the helmet in every way possible. You know what I mean? Because I'm more than sure like all of those thoughts had crossed somebody's mind while they were watching Star Wars.
yeah.
Right? Like you can't really see, you can't breathe. How the hell are you gonna eat or drink? Like all of that. And that's one of the reasons why like I loved it so much.
Yeah.
Like
Just the running gags throughout that, like with the helmet, the merchandising, like it would say Spaceball, Spaceballs the sheet, Spaceballs the toilet paper, just everything Spaceballs, and then the there was Mr. Coffee, there was Mr.
yes,
Radar,
radar.
there was Mr. something else,
It was the where they got the Spaceballs movie from.
Mr. Rental,
Yes.
yeah, like, but all of those VHSs, which if you're listening and you don't know what a tape is, you should probably stop listening to us because we're gonna be referencing a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, you young.
Yeah, you young. Um,
They were
but
all of his movies though,
all of his
right?
movies, yep.
Yeah.
hmm And I think that was one of Mel Brooks says that's one of his proudest gags that he had in the movie was the fact that it was like they had Spaceballs the movie before it was even out. Uh, it was funny.
I love that. I love how they made fun of Lightspeed. It's gotta go to ludicrous speed.
Speaking of that, Tesla Motors names their speeds after the spaceship speeds.
Shut up.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So, light speed, ridiculous speed, ludicrous speed, and plaid speed.
They went straight plaid.
Those are actual modes on a Tesla car. Apparently, I have never been in a Tesla.
Yeah.
I've never looked into buying one, but that this is apparently the case that where they actually yeah.
I could see Elon Musk doing some crazy shit like that.
Well, you saw the name of the child, right?
Yeah, I saw that there was symbols and letters
Yeah.
in said supposed name.
Mhm.
So I could just see him high as shit one day, like, guys.
Yeah.
I just figured out how we're gonna name these motors and the horse. It's not gonna be horsepower anymore.
Yeah. You're gonna go into ludicrous mode. Yeah.
And then anybody at the table who didn't understand that reference, he just fired on the spot.
Yeah. And I can get behind that.
Eh,
But it's very much like Elon Musk with is this his girlfriend? They're not married, right?
I don't fucking know.
But the singer Grimes, it's very apropos for them. Like it's not
Yeah.
out of the question. Like when I
No.
saw that I was like I'm not surprised. I want to be, but I'm not. Just the state of the world at this point. I'm like, you know what?
Nah,
There's crazier shit out there in this world.
that's true.
But another thing that I thought was kind of funny. This movie is rated PG, and yet they use the word fuck once,
They do. Yeah.
but they use the word fuck. So this was back early, when they were the early days of PG-13.
Right.
So this, Spaceballs, Caddyshack 2, Beetlejuice, and Big were the only PG movies to use the word fuck.
Hmm.
And they were all made in 87. What is my issue?
I don't know. Did something happen in 97 that like you need to discuss? Is there a particular movie or show in 97?
I don't know. Maybe that's the next. We got to talk about a movie from 97.
We have to look up like all the top movies and shows in 97 and figure this out.
Yeah, probably. I don't know why I'm broken.
I kind of feel like too, like again, like the rating system. I feel like you would for that movie, it'd be really hard to get a PG rating from that.
Just based on the amount of times they say shit.
Well, just that, the amount of like sexual innuendos, like the off-color jokes. It's not terrible. I mean, there's definitely been worse, but
Yeah, it would probably safely be a PG-13 now.
yeah.
Because like just how everything is, and they have to probably list everything that they do in that movie. Like they make ethnic jokes, and they do like there's brief,
Sci-fi violence.
yeah,
Specifically sci-fi violence. Not just violence.
yeah, sci-fi
Sci-fi
violence
violence.
and brief language or graphic language. What is no brief language?
It's
Violence?
brief nudity.
Brief
Graphic.
graphic violence, graphic language. Language? Foul language. Well, what do they call it?
I don't know. I don't actually look at the ratings.
I find them interesting because they're getting more and more elaborate.
That's true. I will notice them if it's something that I haven't seen before, like the
Bullying.
sci-fi violence, or like something very, very specific where I'm like, how is sci-fi violence any worse or different than whatever?
They in like we were just talking about Outlander before we started recording. They specifically list in their like TVMA like why it's rated that. They list everything that happens in that episode. So if there's graphic violence, strong sexual content, if there's graphic nudity, and then they'll also mention rape. And you're like, oh, okay, so this is a rape episode, which happens a lot in Outlander. We've talked about this, but that's it's in a way it's good so we can warn people that might be triggered by such things. But apparently it got so bad that they have to.
I mean, listen, it's like every other episode.
Yeah, but the season finale this time around, they have a hotline that you can call.
Is it as bad as season 1?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, that's right. Comes out tonight. Will you let me know a little bit more specifically this time?
Okay. Have we ever talked about that on the show?
I don't think so. I feel like that should be an entire episode.
It probably should.
In and of itself.
But like, long story, hopefully not that long. The show Outlander there's a lot of sexual content in it.
Yes.
A lot of it's consensual. A lot of it's not.
Mm.
And there's one episode in particular that a lot of people, and this isn't the first season, and it's at the end of the season.
Yeah, so it's like, I kind of feel like this is going to be a breaking episode if you are going to continue to watch and be a fan.
Yeah. I don't know. What did I say to you?
So let it be known that if you ever ask her opinion on, hey, do you like this show? Should I watch it? And she goes, yes, you should absolutely watch it. It's an amazing show. However, there is one episode where things happen that should give you pause. It should give you pause, and especially when she does not make eye contact anymore. I will not go into detail.
Okay, first of all, I think this was via text, so you couldn't even see my eyes.
No, because when I when I confronted you.
Oh, right.
After it happened.
Yeah, she did do that.
So anytime that happens, you should ask yourself, how traumatized am I willing to be?
Okay. In my defense, I
want to hear this.
So for me personally, I don't care about spoilers. You can tell me spoilers and I'll still watch the show, the movie, whatever. I'm like my mom that way. Like she's one of those that'll read the end of the book and then read the whole book. I won't go out of my way to find spoilers, but if I find them out, for the most part, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
There are certain spoilers that I had found out about certain shows and movies that I was like, are you fucking kidding me? But for Game of Thrones, all the spoilers that I had found out helped me in the coping process. Except for Prince Oberyn. I did not know what was going to happen to him, and that was very distraught, and I threatened to stop watching.
Yeah, it was sad.
And that one scene in Dexter.
Oh, yeah.
We won't talk about that.
Mm-mm.
But this specifically, I was like, okay, I know how other people feel about spoilers. So I'm not going to tell.
So listen, something like that, you'd be like, listen, a really, really, really intense graphic rape scene happens. It's not spoiling anything. I don't know who the characters are. I don't know, like, how that ties into the storyline or why that's so important to the
Yeah, but then
storyline,
you're gonna watch every episode just expecting violent, graphic rape.
which happened anyway.
Not as graphic
No,
or
exactly.
violent.
So I'm saying, like, I'm gonna feel like, okay, maybe it was that episode, like, moving forward, and then that episode's gonna happen, and I'm gonna be like,
Yeah, but
I
then
wasn't ready for that.
once it gets okay, so I tell you there's graphic, violent rape, and then every episode you're expecting that, and you see like the regular, not so graphic, violent rape, and then you're like, oh, okay, maybe that's it, and maybe she just thought that was graphic and violent. And then you get to the last episode, and you're like, "Oh my fucking god! Why didn't you tell?" Like you would complain no matter what. Is what I'm thinking.
All right, you know what? We're off topic.
We are,
Grossly off topic.
but anyway, I'm right and you're wrong.
Wow. Wow. I didn't
I'm
think
kidding.
it was
I'm
that
kidding.
type
I'm
of
kidding.
situation that we were in right now.
I'm just joking.
You know what? I feel like that's a good stopping point, is what I feel like.
Jess is very much done with my shit.
Jesus. Folks, this is what happens when we don't see each other in person for 2 months.
Oh yeah. Oh god, we should actually probably talk about that. The fact that
Yeah.
so if you're not watching this, we are actually in person now. You can probably kind of tell by the audio how
It's not shit.
well, half of it's not shit. Cuz you were on an iPad.
No, I meant like how what they're listening to right now is not shit.
Well, yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah. You were
I'm
right.
right.
I was
You're
wrong.
right. Yes. Let me have this just one.
Fine. You get one. But anyway, we are in the same room together. Because we took a vow that if we kill each other, it happened. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Because we went for a long time doing the Zoom recordings, and that was fine. But we had gotten to the point where it was just, you know what, we're not in a whole group full of people. We're doing all the necessary precautions outside of this,
Yeah.
and we're like, you know what, we're willing to take the chance. And if anything else occurs, like in either of our work environments, where if someone pops up with a positive case, then we'll go back to doing the Zoom thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good idea to just try, like,
Mental health wise, I couldn't take it much more.
yeah, Will was pretty much just shoving her out of the house.
Yeah. So I go through two extremes of, you know, I never want to leave my house and everything must be sanitized. Like if I could have like if you could come into my house, and then be sprayed down and sanitized and then come in mentality to, like, if I keep thinking and feeling that way, like I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. So it was recommended that I venture out into the world outside of work in the store
Yeah.
safely. So
By a therapist.
legit, no joking.
The therapist is like, dude, seriously, that'll be your therapy. Don't come to me next week. Do that.
Go live your life. Jesus Christ.
So we're back to doing this, and it feels good.
It does. It
I
feels
keep
very
hitting my
good.
fucking face off of the microphone, and it's
Does that feel good?
no, it doesn't.
Oh.
It does, and it tastes funny because I keep like accidentally hitting my lips off of it, and then I go and like touch my lip. I'm like, it's gross. Clearly, we need contact with other people.
Stop holding your boob. What are you doing?
Sorry. We needed this too. We haven't laughed like this in a while.
No.
So
All right, guys. So
come on back now. You hear? But on a serious note, we're gonna be talking more Mel Brooks next week, and you can find us on all social media pages. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter under Glitter Budget, and we're also starting to make TikToks,
yes,
which have been really fun.
they have been fun. I'm slowly starting to enjoy it. Although I probably wouldn't do it on my own without you. So
This is true. I think that was another reason why we got together, because doing the TikToks separately, it was not, it's not good.
no.
Not good. So, anyway, until next time, guys, stay safe, stay sane,
Yes.
and we love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.